Welcome everyone to our daily Forex market analysis call, and this is in preparation for trading on November 9th, 2017. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. All right, so we will start off by taking a look at our Forex Factory calendar as usual. So let's go here. So like I said, the big thing today was Reserve Bank of New Zealand. Other than that, didn't really have major news. They kept the interest rate the same. However, their comments about inflation and the outlook for the economy were good, and that's what drove the market up. So Bank of Japan here, we got some negative data, and that hasn't helped either. But overall, I think Japanese yen is still sort of strong. So I am hoping we'll get a nice pound yen short trade tomorrow, but we'll see. So for now, going into 8:30 here Eastern, we do have CPI for China and PPI numbers for China. So these ones will have an impact on Australia and New Zealand as well, because both of those countries are important trade partners with China, and they do a lot of exports to China. So as a result of that, any data that comes out negative for China has a negative impact on those two countries. So we'll keep that in mind. And going into tomorrow here, we have some yellow news, EU economic forecasts at 5 a.m., which is orange. So it's important but not critical like the red news. And then in New York, we do have unemployment claims for the US, and we have wholesale inventories. Excuse me. But two important things here: Swiss franc, Swiss National Bank Chairman Jordan speaks. So we have another central bank, and in the evening we have Reserve Bank of Australia monetary policy statement. So they did release their rate statement earlier in the week, and the interest rates were kept the same. So monetary policy statement would basically give us more information about how the central bank sees the economy for Australia and what are they expecting going forward. So that's what really what it will be. They do it separately, whereas Fed does it all at the same time. They will announce their cash rate and monetary policy statement all at once. So this one here, it will still have an impact because they will talk about the outlook, and outlook is what will be important because they're not raising rates. Okay, so that's what's going on tomorrow. So not a ton of news, just some scattered news here, but that will be important for the currencies, those particular currencies. So let's go to the charts here. Euro US dollar here, not a big move, but we had talked about this 1600 level. So price has held this level. It hasn't broken the low. It did not do much today, period. There was really not much of a move in the euro. Pound, we got a good trade out of that in the London session, but other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of move in the euro itself. So right now, what I'm looking at is that as long as this price stays below the support and resistance area at 1.16, let's say 20 level, which will be slightly higher here. So as long as price stays below that, so overall the trend is to the downside. So my bias is to the downside, and I'm looking for a further move down as long as it stays below 1.1620. So the first target would be this 1.1550 level to the downside, which is the bottom of the pin. So I'm just looking for price to drop, and if it goes further, the target will be right into this 1.15, maybe 00 level. So that's what I'm looking at. Overall, the bias is to the downside for euro. This is where we are. See how price held this level. Previous support turned to resistance, and now it's holding below that level. And if it stays below the pivot point, I'm looking for price to come and test this level, and then further down into this 1.1500 level. Okay, so next one is our British pound. Excuse me. So pound here, pound was a nice move. We had a nice double top formation here. This was the trade that we took in the London session. So that played out really well. So now going forward, so we have had a bearish candle close, and now I'm looking for price to move to the downside, and my target would be 1.3040 level, which is the bottom of the pin here. So I'm looking for price to drop. And this is our 1 hour levels that we're looking at. So it could pull back into this pivot point level and then do a drop. But overall, I am looking for price to be bearish. So in terms of our move, I'm looking for one of these and looking for price to come and test this bottom again at 1.3040 level. So that's the biases to the downside for pound. Excuse me. Okay, next one up, we will take a look at Aussie dollar. So Aussie, we do have monetary policy statement coming up, and looking at it from a daily perspective. So we have been in this range-bound market for a bit, but now price is holding below this 76.80 level. So as long as price stays below 76.80, I'm looking for price to come and test the bottom here. But overall, the move is range bound. So this is where we are. So price is making lower highs. And we could even draw a bit of a trend line here. Price is making lower highs. So I'm looking for price to move back lower, move down back into this level here. So excuse me. So my outlook on this one is to the downside. And the RBA hasn't really been that bullish overall for the economy. Last time, their last statement wasn't that strong. So I'm expecting the Aussie dollar to maybe come under some pressure going into the RBA statement. So overall, I'm looking for price to drop into this 76.30 level. And so this is right here, 76.30 level. And if it goes below that, I'm looking for it to come and test this 75.70 level, which is the bottom here. So I'm looking for price to drop here essentially. New Zealand dollar, we have had this big inefficient move to the upside. So with this one, this is where we are. Price has been moving up. So we have seen a big bullish candle close. So in this case, this is the inefficient move. So if price breaks below this or stays below the 69.50 level, I'm looking for it to come fill this inefficiency back into this S1 level. And that's when the decision will come. So if the US dollar gets stronger, then I'm thinking New Zealand dollar will drop as well with all the other currencies. So we have seen the commodity currencies kind of hold their own. So lately, oil has been strong, and as a result of that, we have seen commodity currencies hold their own. So Canadian dollar has been strong in spite of everything, and so have New Zealand dollar and Australia. But I think they're ready. So we may see the price drop in this one. So I'm looking for price to come in and fill this inefficiency back into this S1 level, into 69.14 level, and if it holds below S1, then I'm looking for price to come back into the 68.80 level. So overall, we'll have to play this by the ear. If it breaks below pivot point, then I'm looking for it to continue further to the downside. But, sorry. But if it doesn't, so if it breaks below pivot point, then I'm looking for first target to be this, and then second target to be 68.80. But for some reason, if it holds above pivot point, then we could see one of these moves, or we could see price come into this level and do one of these, because based on the monetary policy statement from Reserve Bank of New Zealand, we saw this inefficient move to the upside, but right now it looks like it's going to get filled. Dollar CAD. Dollar CAD looks bearish here. We are in a bit of a range bound move here, but we had a bearish candle close, so this could move lower. So we have to keep that in mind. The target for this one would be 126.33 level or slightly higher into this 126.50 level. So that's what we are looking at for dollar CAD. But if we see that all the excuse me, US dollar is getting stronger, then this could go up as well. Euro Swiss franc, not much of a move. So overall trend is to the downside, but we have seen the last couple of days price has moved up, and now I'm looking for price to sort of do this and then drop again. So the target would be about there. So 1550 level, 1.1550 will be the target. But overall, I'm looking for a bounce off of the trend line over here, but not a big move. We do have Swiss National Bank tomorrow. So this is probably a pair that I'm not too interested in at this point because it's not really going anywhere too fast. It's just very, very small move. Pound Swiss franc looks bearish. We have a bearish engulfing candle, so I'm looking for price to move lower. And the first target would be into 1.3080 level. And then I'm looking for a price to drop into this 1.3050 level. So my bias is to the downside here. Dollar Swiss franc is just going sideways right now. This is probably not the cleanest one either. So we have a bit of a pennant formation going on, and generally it will break to either side. But right now, if you take a look at it, this is a big between these two levels. It's just going sideways. So this is a big consolidation, range bound market. So based on this is really nothing to write home about. I would be interested if it goes into the high here, then I would look for a potential short opportunity, look to see if there's a way to short this, or if it comes into the bottom here, I'm looking for a potential buying opportunity. But other than that, I'm not looking for a price to, I'm not really looking to engage in the market at this point. Pound CAD. Pound CAD was a really good opportunity today, and I was kind of kicking myself for missing this because I was just looking at pound dollar and didn't really look at this in time till price had already moved off. But even then, this was a huge drop. So big bearish candle close. Now I'm looking for a further drop, and in this case, the target would be 1.6580. However, things could change. So let's say dollar CAD starts to go up, then we could get this move may not be as big as it was today, or it may not be as strong. So we'll have to watch dollar CAD to see how dollar CAD performs for this to for us to continue on with this. But overall, this is bearish, and I'm looking for price to drop further. Pound yen here, another nice opportunity. This one I was engaged in, but so this one moved quite a bit, and then it pulled back. And this is the one that I'm hoping we will be able to catch tomorrow, although it does look like it wants to drop now. So let's go on to a 1 hour chart here. So this is where we are. So it could pull back further. So this is where we are currently in this support and resistance area. So I'm looking for price to pull back into that level. So that would be a really good, if it does pull back into this level tomorrow morning, 149.80 area, that would be a good selling opportunity. But overall, the bias is to the downside, and I'm looking for price to come back and test this level again, 148.68 or even 148.50 level. So I'm looking for price to come back and test this. I do hope it goes up, and we have an opportunity in London to short it. Euro yen here, we are into the bottom. So this has been a range bound move for a couple of months now. Price has been moving sideways, and this is where we are now. We are into the bottom. So we need to see if price will actually break to the downside here, or is it going to push back up? So at this point, it looks like all the yen crosses want to push lower, but I would be careful with this one because we are into the bottom of the range. So generally when we are trading a range bound move, when price is at the bottom, we generally see the price push back up. But with this one, so if euro dollar drops, this could drop, and if the other yen crosses drop, this could drop as well. So that's something we'll have to keep in mind. So excuse me, I will keep this on my radar. So basically what price could do is one of these, and in that case I'm looking for price to move back down into this 130.80 area. So the bias right now is to the downside because we are, well, it's range bound right now, but just the way things look, it looks like price is getting pushed to the downside. But I would keep an eye on the yen crosses as well as the euro dollar cross for this. So this is a wait and see type of thing. So now we are into Aussie. So let's take a look here. So based on the daily close, first of all, daily close is bullish, but as long as price stays below this level, so we are in this range for the last 3-4 days. So as long as price stays below this 87.65 level, the bias will still stay to the downside. So this is the level I'm talking about. Price could push up higher. Now that's the concern. But from a 1 hour perspective, we do have a nice bearish engulfing candle. And Aussie seems to be dropping, so this looks okay right now to the downside. So I'm looking for price to basically drop in this, but this excuse me, it's not as strong as pound yen, for example. So we will have to be careful with this, and we'll have to reevaluate this once we go into the morning. So right now, I'm looking for price to hold below this 87.65 level and drop further. But if commodity currencies are strong and we see oil and gold stay strong, this could change. So this could push up. So a little bit ambiguous here. Dollar yen. Dollar yen, we did see price drop and then it has pulled back up. So at this point, we are still in this range, and I'm looking for price to, so we do have a pin, which means rejection in the bottom, but the sellers are still in charge. So in this case, generally price tends to move lower. So 113.40 will be, excuse me, will be the target to the downside for dollar yen. And then we'll just do CAD yen quickly here. CAD yen price is not really going anywhere. We are range bound, so I'm just looking for price to go into this 89.80 level, and from there looking for it to drop, but not the best setup properly. And New Zealand yen price has pushed up, and now it looks like it wants to come lower. So in this case, if the price stays above this level, and then it can continue lower. So it could, sorry, it could continue higher. So it could do this, right? Test of the level from the other side and go up higher. So there is this inefficient move. So if it breaks through this level, then I'm looking for it to fill this inefficiency. But again, it's at that critical level where price could get stuck above this level, above the 79.14 level. And if it does, it will, chances are it will go up higher. If it breaks below that, I'm looking for this inefficiency to get filled. Okay, so that's all I have. Any questions or anything to add? All right, so we'll call it a wrap. I will see you guys again in the London session. I am quite enjoying the London session. The trades are quite good in the London session. We do get some nice runs. So we'll stick with it. I do like it. So I will see you guys in the London session again tomorrow.